regard to this particular issue, Senator Nancy Binay. We'd also like to acknowledge the presence of our guest resource person. That we start by acknowledging our Department of Labor and Employment Secretary, Secretary Silvestre Bello III, our DSWD OIC Secretary, OIC pa rin ba? Secretary Manuel Lico, sir. DFA Undersecretary, our good friend. I grew up looking at him as our reverend, now USEC of DFA, Ernesto Abella, sir. Secretary Abdullah Mamau, Presidential Advisor OFW and Muslim Concerns. That's the Deputy Director General, Rosana Urdaneta. OWA Administrator, Attorney Hans Leo Capdao, sir. Commission on Filipino Overseas USEC as Travel Pimentel Naik. Our former colleague, Dole Undersecretary Jacinto Jing Paras. Ms. Amanda Araneta, President, Philippine Association of Agencies for Kuwait. Ms. Carmelita Nuki, President, Philippine Migrants Rights Watch. Mr. Arman Hernando, Migrante International, Home Office. And also Dole Undersecretary Claro Arellano is present here today. At this juncture, the Chair would like to make a very short opening statement. Alam niyo po, napanood ko po noong yung mga videos kung saan inihahanda ang labi ni Joanna sa Al-Saba Hospital sa Kuwait, pauwi po dito sa Pilipinas. Hanggang sa may uwi po siya rito sa Iloilo at sinalubong po ng kanyang mga kaanak. By the way, I also saw Mr. Arnel Ignacio who's also here today. We acknowledge Sir Arnel. Gaano nga po ba kasakit sa isang anak, kapatid, magulang, kaibigan mo na hindi mo nakita ng matagal dahil nandun po sa ibang bansa, nagtatrabaho, halos nagpapaalipin sa ibang lahi. Tapos iuwi pong walang buhay, nasa loob na ng kahon. Pinaltrato, pinaslang, sinilid pa sa freezer. Very brutal, very cruel po. Nakapanginginig po talaga. May pangarap po kasi yung bata. Matalino, mapagmahal sa magulang. Nakipagsapalaran po doon sa Kuwait. Talagang lahat po tayo nanghihinayang. Sayang. Sayang po. Nakakadurog po ng puso yung huling FB post ni Joanna. Kung saan niya sinulat ang ganito. And I quote, "Marahil ang dahilan ng katapusan ay ang katotohanan na lahat ng bagay, matibay man o hindi, ay may hangganan." Close quote. Naisip ko po, hindi po ba tungkulin ng Estado, lalo na tayo po sa gobyerno, na yung mahihina, yung kapos sa buhay, yung walang oportunidad, ay tulungan, bigyan ng oportunidad, bigyan ng tulong, para bumangon at magkaroon ng mas magandang buhay. Unfortunately po, nabigo po tayo. Nabigo po tayong lahat dito sa nangyari kay Joanna. Binigo po natin siya dahil walang sumaklol. Kulang yung sistema, kulang yung programa para hindi na sana umabot sa ganito. Ang lalo pong nakagagalit, hindi naman po ito unang beses na nangyari. Paulit-ulit po itong nangyari. Imagine, 185 deaths in just 2 years. 82 noong 2016 at 103 last year of 2017. Ganun karaming buhay na po ang nawala bago pa tayo umosyon. Buhay po pinag-uusapan natin dito. Hindi yung buhay ng taga o ipis. Buhay ng kababayan natin, buhay ng kababayan nating OFW na tinatawag natin mga bagong bayani ng ating bansa. Bakit nga po ba tuwing may bagong biktima, parang nagtatantos lang po tayo sa papel pero wala man lang tayong nilalagay ng mga red flags para hindi na po sana lumala at umabot pa sa ganito? Ngayon, nandito po tayo at naniniwala po ako na may magagawa pa tayo na hindi pa huli ang lahat para dagdagan natin yung ginagawa natin para sa ating mga OFWs. Ang buong Senado po ay interesado po sa bagay na ito at gusto nating masagot ninyo, punto por punto, yung mga issue kung nakapaloob sa 6 na Senate resolutions in aid of legislation. Proposed Senate Resolution number 626 by Senator Manny Pacquiao, number 627 by Senator Nancy Binay, yun po sa atin, 631, number 634, pinali ni Senator Willie Gatchalian, 636 by Senator Grace Poe, 638 by Senator Sally Angara, including the privileged speech delivered by our colleague Senator Pacquiao, who is also here, and let me take this opportunity to acknowledge him. Dineliver po niya yun noong February 18. Una po, gusto nating linawin itong total deployment ban. Ito po ba talaga ang solusyon? Of course, we support that to prove that other nationalities could not simply belittle Filipinos. Sa dekada-dekadang pagseserbisyo ng mga Pinoy sa Kuwait, di ko maintindihan, ito pa ba ang igaganti nila? Wala pong utang na loob sa mga Pilipino ang gobyerno ng Kuwait. Pangalawa po, yung Memorandum of Understanding, at ito po yung naging topic natin nung nag-interplate po tayo kay Senator Pacquiao. Ano nga po ba itong MOU na ito? Bakit po ba nila hindi ito mapirmahan? Pangatlo po, gusto nating malaman, ano po ba yung komprehensibong plano natin para sa ating mga kababayan na umuwi dito sa Pilipinas? Paano ba natin sila bibigyan ng trabaho? Paano ba natin sila matutulungan kung sakaling yun na nga po, kailangan nilang magsimula muli? Ang huli po, dapat pong may managot sa nangyari kay Joanna. Kung inaasahan po natin tutulong, yung inaasahan po natin tutulong sa kanya, hindi po tumulong. Baka yun po dapat ang ilagay sa freezer dahil napakalamig ng pagtugon nila sa nangyari kay Joanna. Hindi pa po ba pagkakanulo ang tawag doon? Pagtataksil sa ating mga kababayan. Justisya po yung sigaw ng mga kamag-anak ni Joanna at yun din po ang gusto nating mangyari. Kaya tayo po lahat ay narito ngayon. Sa inyo pong lahat, maraming salamat. And at this juncture, I will give the floor to one of the authors of these resolutions that I have mentioned a while ago, Senator Nancy Binay. Yes, Senator Nancy Binay is recognized.
Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Taong 2012, nagkaroon ng kasunduan sa pagitan ng Pilipinas at Saudi Arabia na itaas ang sahod ng mga household service workers. This agreement also requires employers to give Filipino HSWs at least 8 hours of rest per day and at least 1 day off work. More importantly, this agreement prevents employers from seizing passports and other travel documents of OFWs, a practice usually reported in past cases of abuse. September last year, the Philippines and the United Arab Emirates have also signed a similar labor cooperation agreement that would reinforce protection for overseas Filipino workers. Ang tanong po natin sa hearing na ito ay kung bakit hanggang ngayon wala pang ganitong kasunduan sa pagitan ng Pilipinas at Kuwait. Ano po ang mga naging balance at paano makakatulong ang Senado para mabuo at mapagtibay ang kasunduang gaya nito sa pagitan ng ating mga bansa? Nais din po natin malaman kung ano ang plano ng ating pamahalaan sa ating mga kababayang natamaan ng deployment ban, lalo na yung mga nakapirma na ng kontrata at lilipad na papuntang Kuwait. Anong mga ayuda ang pwedeng ibigay ng pamahalaan habang pinoproseso nila ang karagdagang mga papeles para makalipat sa ibang bansang pwedeng mapagtrabahuan. Bukod dito, gusto natin masiguro na handa ang pamahalaan sa ating reintegration program, lalo na bukod sa repatriation, maraming overstaying OFWs ang siguradong sasamantalahin ang amnesty program ng Kuwait na extended hanggang April 20. patong-patong na ang kanilang mga problema. Huwag na po natin dagdagan pa ang kalbaryo ng ating mga OFW. Kung sa pag-uwi nila sa Pilipinas, walang katiyakan kung may trabaho naghihintay sa kanila dito. Their safety will always be paramount. But we have to look at the bigger aspect of the problem. Let's get into the core issues and be in the shoes of our OFW. Nakipagsapalaran sa ibang bansa ang ating mga kababayan para magtrabaho at turuan ang pinansyal na pangangailangan ng kanilang mga sa kanilang bansa. May trabaho ba silang uuwian? We agree with the President when he said that the Filipino is no slave to anyone. Their safety and welfare is our utmost priority. But the government should work harder in providing jobs for its citizens so that the day will come that being an OFW is a choice and not a necessity. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Senator Nancy Binay. We'd like to acknowledge the arrival of our colleague, also one of the authors of these resolutions that we are deliberating. At this juncture, let me acknowledge Senator Manny Pacquiao for his opening statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, everyone. Nauwi na ang labi ni Joanna Di Mapiles, Daniela Di Mapiles, at napangakuan ng tulong ng ang kanyang pamilya. Ngunit marami pa tayong dapat malaman at marami pa tayong dapat gawin. Ilan na nga bang migrant workers na nasa pait ang nais ng umuwi ng Pilipinas? Ano ang naghihintay sa buhay sa kanila dito sa ating bansa? Ilan nga bang mga kababayan natin ang handa na sanang umalis papuntang Kuwait? Paano na ang kanilang mga pangarap? Mr. Chairman, nung ako ay nagbigay ng privilege speech noong isang linggo, tinanong ko po, ilang OFW na ba ang inabuso? Ilang OFW na ba ang ginahasa? Ilang OFW na ba ang nagpakamatay? Ilang OFW na ba ang pinatay? Ilang OFW na ba sa Kuwait at ibang bahagi ng mundo ang nagsakripisyo ng kanilang buhay? Panalangin ko po na sana matapos na ang investigasyon at mabigyan ng hustisya ang pagkamatay sa Kuwait ng mga OFW na umalis dito sa ating bansa na sina Lisel Trus Hokbong, Vanessa Carisha Esguera, Marites Arlen Castillo Manzano, Divine Mera Luna Huntilla. Ang mga kababayan nating ito ay mga household services workers na tulad ni Joanna ay umalis patungong Kuwait na puno-puno ng pag-asa. Nagtatrabaho bilang mga katulong ang ating mga kababayan sa Kuwait at ibang bansa, hindi upang abusuhin, gasain at patayin. Nagpapasalamat po ako sa napakasipag kong kaibigan na si Senator Joel Villanueva, Chairman of the Senate Committee on Labor and Employment, sa kanyang maagap na pagkilos para tugunan ang problema ng ating mga migrant workers. Narito tayo ngayon dahil ayaw na nating hayaan ang magpatuloy ang karumaldumal na maltrato sa ating mga OFWs. Let me reiterate this. It is high time that we think about how we can truly provide additional protection upon our overseas workers and offer economic opportunities in their reintegration in the Philippine society. Let me thank this committee, the various government agencies, and all the other groups represented here today for supporting the passage of Senate Bill number 192, an act mandating the POA to publish, disseminate, and update a handbook on the rights and responsibilities of migrant workers. The approved Senate bill on OFW handbook is one practical step to equip our migrant workers with vital information This proactive effort is one of the things that we want to put in place for our modern heroes. Mr. Chairman, as we review the policies and responsibilities of government agencies like POA and OWA, let us study how we can heighten the accountability of recruitment agencies in our move to prevent abuses as well as combat illegal recruitment and even human trafficking. As we proceed with this committee hearing, let us find out incidents from happening. I filed Senate Resolution number 626, a resolution directing the Senate Committees on Labor, Employment and Human Resources and Foreign Relations in aid of legislation to conduct an exhaustive investigation regarding the untoward deaths of OFWs and re-examination of the government's labor and foreign policies and programs in light of the continued abuses, exploitation, and deaths of our overseas Filipino workers. Since the death of Flor Contemplacion on March 17, 1995, Mr. Chairman, fellow government workers, let us look forward to that day when our OFW would no longer have to be exposed to abuses just to earn money for their families. Today, more than ever, we need to seek God's wisdom on what we are supposed to do for the holistic welfare of our modern day heroes. Let's all together work in unity, solidarity, as we move towards the day when the world would see and treat the Filipinos with dignity, honor, and respect. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Pacquiao. At this juncture, let me just acknowledge Ms. Elsa Villa, President, Philippine Association of Service Exporters Incorporated. Let me also acknowledge my kababayan from Bulacan, Ms. Susan Toots Ople, Chairperson of she's here, Blas Ople Policy Center and Training Institute, and POA Administrator Bernard Olalia. Thank you, sir, for coming. Let me give the floor to our minority floor leader, Senator Frank Drilon.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And at the outset, let me congratulate the chairman for insisting that we hear the resolutions calling for inquiries on this unfortunate event, finding space and time in our busy schedule to examine what happened to our poor overseas worker who happens to be from my home province. Mr. Chairman, I think of all the people in the room, I can claim that I'm one of those who have had exposure to this kind of problems, because it was during my time when I came in as Secretary of Labor when illegal recruitment abuses were at its peak at that time. Mr. Chairman, for the record, I imposed a ban on deployment of domestic helpers in 1988. I recommended to President Cory then, after examining the situation in the Middle East, that we ban deployment of domestic helpers. What happened was we banned all domestic helpers as a skill or as a sector. We banned the deployment in all countries. However, that was a strategy that we adopted because we wanted each country where there are no national laws protecting migrant workers or where there are no bilateral agreements to come up with measures and to agree if possible, to bilateral labor agreements to protect our migrant workers. This ban lasted for some time, but slowly it was lifted as each ban did come up with their own national laws and policies in order to protect migrant workers. Of particular importance, and the first one to do it, would be Hong Kong. Today, if you examine our deployment practice or deployment policy, Hong Kong offers the best protection to our domestic helpers. Of course, it cannot be avoided that there could be cases that will happen, that will crop up. But the important thing is that there must be mechanisms in place in order to protect our workers. And the ban, when we imposed the ban, we lifted slowly the bans in other countries, but what stayed was Kuwait and Jordan. And it was only after, I think it was 10 years after we imposed the ban, that the ban was lifted. The last countries were Kuwait and Jordan. The question that would rightfully be asked, did the ban work? Did the ban work? To me, that's an open question. Why? Because after we imposed the ban, what proliferated were tourists going to Kuwait as to tour, as tourists. When in fact, when they get there, they become domestic helpers. That was a reality. Again, it involved implementation. It involved a lot of corruption in our borders, meaning the international airport. Illegal recruiters were having their heyday at the airport. And if you look at the statistics in Kuwait, there were a lot, the tourist industry increased tremendously. So that was how effective the ban was. Of course, I was no longer there after 10 years, but that is why I raised this, because the ban may have developed and embedded practices and institutions generating black market thinking, using the tourist route as the way to get around it. And therefore, that is the challenge to us today. In fact, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, you know, when the worker is, when they are working there, the workers sometimes become part of the conspiracy of silence because of the need to earn. And that is where our problem basically lies. In a labor surplus economy, it is so difficult to prevent illegal recruitment. Kapit sa patalim, ika nga. Kung walang trabaho, kahit saan papasok. At kahit turista sa Kuwait, alam na nila hindi sila turista, pero pupunta pa rin doon para maghanap ng trabaho. That is why we have, this is our opportunity to re-examine the policies that we have. And this, I assume this is the purpose of the hearing this afternoon, to review the policies. Because nangyari na nangyari. Now, we condemn it, we impose the ban, but should we review our policies and see, is it a question of erroneous policies or a question of implementation? For example, the present law, Republic Act 10022, the Migrant Workers Act, is really very detailed. Halos nakalagay lahat doon. Ang tanong po ba, ito po ba na i-implement? Halimbawa, nakalagay doon sa Section 4, deployment of migrant workers. Deployment is allowed only where to a country where there is an existing labor and social laws protecting the rights of workers, including migrant workers. Very specific. Now, or that the receiving country is a signatory to and or a ratifier of multilateral conventions, declarations, or resolutions relating to the protection of workers, including migrant workers. And number 3, it it has concluded a bilateral agreement or arrangement with the government on the protection of the rights of overseas Filipino workers. In other words, it is only under these circumstances that a deployment will be allowed. And in fact, of particular interest would be the adherence of the receiving countries to ILO Convention 189, which specifically protects also domestic workers. So, Mr. Chairman, as I said, the laws are there. In fact, the law provides, in the absence of any clear showing that the guarantees exist in the country of destination of the migrant workers, no permit for deployment shall be issued by the POEA. Is this being followed? Those are the issues that we must resolve. And the statement including migrant workers is not by accident or a redundancy. Why, Mr. Chairman? Because in many of these receiving countries, our migrant workers are not considered as workers. They're not covered by labor laws. That's the reality. That is why it says including migrant workers repeated twice in this. Now, I do not know if there is. The POA Governing Council Governing Board is in existence. They're supposed to review these issues regularly and make recommendations as to which country we should ban the deployment of workers. I've not heard of any. So, to me, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, today is a good opportunity for us, an exercise of our oversight functions, to check on the executive branch whether or not they are doing their duties under the Migrant Workers Act, or is there anything in the Migrant Workers Act which we may not have foreseen when this law was enacted in 2009. So, Mr. Chairman, thank you very much, and I look forward to these questions being discussed at the appropriate time.
Thank you very much, Senator Drilon, who obviously has the richest experience among all of us here today. Not only richest, perhaps the longest, Mr. Senator. I said the longest, not oldest, sir. Let me give the floor to Senator Win Gatchalian, the author of Senate Resolution number 634.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I filed the same resolution, although my question will concentrate on the economic effects of the ban and also the long-term prospects of overseas employment as the policy of the country, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, marami akong katanungan na gustong marinig sana sa ating mga resource persons. Ilan dito ay, una, nakikita ho natin na ang ating ekonomiya lumalaki. In fact, we've been boasting for the last 10 years that our economy has been growing for almost around 6% for the last 10 years. Pero ano bang ibig sabihin nito sa trabaho? At ano bang ibig sabihin nito sa domestic employment ho natin? Dahil araw-araw nagpapadala tayo ng halos 5,000 tao mag-abroad para magtrabaho. Pero hindi natin tinitignan yung paglaki ng ekonomiya natin at yung paglikha ng trabaho dito sa ating sariling bansa. At Mr. Chair, we also have to determine whether the economy is actually contributing to the growth of employment, because this is one area that we can focus on in order to have somehow limit the deployment of overseas workers abroad. Because at the end of the day, what we want is for our Filipinos, our own Filipinos, to stay in the country and work here. And that's why we also urge the committee to invite NEDA to shed light on the long-term prospects of employment and jobs here in our country. I think we're all in unison, we all agree that this overseas employment policy somehow is just temporary. No? Ang gusto ho natin ay dito sila magtrabaho. No? So we want to have an holistic discussion on our policy on overseas employment and the growth of our economy. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Gatchalian. At this juncture, let me acknowledge our On that note, Senator Gatchalian, let me acknowledge Undersecretary Rosemary Edilon from NEDA is also here with us. We are so interested to talk about yung perhaps yung economic side, no, which is very important. We'll give the floor to Secretary Bello of the Department of Labor and Employment, and perhaps we could ask him of the updates. And as I have heard this morning, you called for a press conference, and perhaps you can update us. And then afterwards, because of lack of time, I wish I set this hearing earlier. We'll give the floor to the members of the Senate according to the time of arrival, and we'll give perhaps 5-7 minutes each senator to ask questions. Let me acknowledge now Secretary Silvestre Bello of the Department of Labor and Employment. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, honorable members of the Committee on Labor. Magandang umaga po. Ay, hapon nga pala. Thank you very much. Your Honors, I think the focus of the interest this morning is the case of OFW Joanna Janela de Mapilis. Your Honors, we learn about the death of Joanna de Mapilis late February this year, Your Honors. And when we learn about this, late February, Your Honor. February. Oh, late part of mga early, Your Honor. Yeah. Yes, Your Honor. We learn about the discovery of the frozen body of OFW de Mapilis. And immediately, as a reaction, Your Honors, we requested our labor attaché to submit a report, only to find out, Your Honors, that even before the discovery of the frozen body of OFW de Mapilis, the sister of Joanna already reported the disappearance of OFW de Mapilis as early as January 2017, Your Honors. And we learned this from her sister when she came to the office complaining about this fact, that despite the information given by the sister to our welfare officer, no action was taken. Reason for which we didn't find out about the disappearance and eventual death of the OFW de Mapilis until her frozen body, as earlier stated, was discovered. I do not want to impress the honorable body, but immediately after I received that information from Jessica, the sister of Joanna, I issued a memorandum to the welfare officer in our polo in Kuwait, Your Honors, together with the labor attaché, and asked them to explain within 72 hours why the complaint about the disappearance of OFW Joanna was not reported to our office. Before the 72 hours would be completed, you know, we received the explanation of the person mentioned, and I found the explanation unsatisfactory. Reason for which, Your Honor, I immediately issued an order recalling not only the welfare officer, Your Honors, but also the assistant labor attaché and also the labor attaché in our polo in Kuwait, Your Honor. Now, with respect to the cause of the death of OFW de Mapilis, Your Honors, at first there was a difficulty to even identify the frozen body, Your Honor, because she has been frozen for more than a year, reason for which they could hardly get the fingerprint of OFW Demophilis, but using perhaps technology, they were able to identify the frozen body as Joanna Daniela Demophilis. But then, the cause of death could not be immediately determined, Your Honors, because the body was too frozen. And it took them more than 1 week to discover that before the freezing of OFW Demophilis, she suffered very serious physical injuries, which indicated that she was tortured before she was placed in that sitting position, Your Honors, inside the freezer, found in the apartment of a Lebanese employer married to a Syrian. That is the reason why, Your Honor, the body was found 1 year after is that the employers apparently are fugitive from justice. Hinahabol sila ng authorities of Kuwait. Mukhang estapador, Your Honors. And before she left, nung tumatakbo na siya, he instructed yung caretaker nila na huwag niyong buksan itong apartment ko dahil maraming valuables dyan. And following the instruction of the boss, Your Honors, hindi ginalaw yung bahay. Until after 10 months, nag-worry na siya dahil no word from his boss, and bakit hindi nabubuksan yung kanyang apartment. And after 10 months, he finally decided to report the matter to the authorities. Sabi niya, matagal na yung kwarto ng boss ko, hindi binubuksan kasi sabi niya may valuables inside the apartment. So they had to get a court order for them to be able to open the apartment, Your Honors. And when they opened the apartment, that's when they found out the frozen body in a sitting position with her arms crossed, touching the shoulder. Hindi ko alam po ang bakit ganun ang ginawa, pero obviously may konting siguro sila ulo nung tarantadong yun. I mean, I'm sorry for the expression, Your Honor, of the Lebanese employer. So that is with respect to the death, the cause of death of OFW Demophilis Joanna. Now, as known to everybody, Your Honor, she has been flown back from Kuwait to Manila, and then eventually, I think that was yesterday, she was flown to Sara, Iloilo. Although they dropped by muna, Your Honor, I think you're familiar with it, Ahoy. Doon, embalsamo niya. After the embalming, they finally brought the body of OFW Demophilis Sara. So that's the repatriation of the body of our national new, tawag natin sa kanya, bagong bayani, Your Honor. Bagong bayani. Nandun na siya ngayon. Although the usual, about the assistance extended to her, Your Honors, is that although the standard would be for OWA to extend a death benefit of 200,000, but probably because of the intensity of the impact of her death, the Administrator Kakdak we recommended to the governing board of OWA to increase the death benefits to, I think, 300,000, from 2 to 300, and then increase the livelihood assistance from 50 to 200, and then additional benefits as educational benefits for 100, giving a total of 600,000. But just lately, Your Honors, our administrator of POEA discovered that yung agency who originally deployed her is a closed agency, sarado na. Pero meron silang nahabol na pera, yung $15,000 insurance coverage, compulsory insurance coverage ni OFW Demophilis. So meron tayo pang may dadagdag doon. So yun po ang na-extend namin assistance so far But in fairness, there are other agencies out of humanitarian sympathy. They offered to give additional financial assistance to the family. And then, per Deputy Administrator Arnel Ignacio, who was so touched by the death that he almost fainted, Your Honor. Deputy Administrator Ignacio. But ang report sa akin ni Administrator Kakdak, Your Honor, is that the family has a house na started by Joanna. Kaya lang, hindi na nga inabot, hindi natapos. And then, is 275, Your Honor. And yung kernel, hindi niya siguro alam ang batas. Nung binabawi, gusto niya patungan pa niya. He has been using the land for more than 3 years, and yet gusto pa niyang patungan ng interest yung utang na 275. So, sabi siguro, maybe OWA can handle the assistance in terms of advancing the payment of the property. And at the same time, OWA is also thinking of completing the house, Your Honor, para matapos yung panaginip ni OFW Joanna, yung bahay na inumpisa niya, kung hindi man matapos dahil sa kanyang kamatayan, will be completed after her death. Ayun po ang circumstances surrounding the death of our OFW Joanna. Although before that, Your Honors, I have to give you a precedent, Your Honor. Before that, that was January, we found out that we had 7 deaths in Kuwait, 3 OFW ladies by hanging, suicide by hanging, 2 deaths by oxygen. And the other 2, hindi masyadong relevant. Of processing and issuance of OECs in Kuwait. Hininto ko muna ang deployment doon. And then this was overtaken by the total ban because of the death of OFW families. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Secretary Bello. Just to, because we are pressed for time, we'd like to start the ball rolling by asking our colleagues to ask questions. As I mentioned earlier, we are interested in evaluating our policies that we are implementing. Just before I give the floor to Senator Duran, just one question that I'd like to raise. First things first, to begin with, I'd like to mention that our migrant workers based in Kuwait, and please correct me if I'm wrong, are experiencing very different and very difficult working conditions. Like other Gulf countries, Kuwait has adopted the notorious kafala system. I don't know, please correct me if I'm wrong, about this kafala system or the what we call sponsorship system. I hope our Presidential Advisor on OFW and Muslim Concerns can also give light to this. Accordingly, this system hinders the rights of our migrant workers. Accounts made by UNCHR and ILO highlight how our workers would have to ask for their employer's consent before they can actually leave the country. And if they do not comply, they may face criminal charges. This system has facilitated the abusive practice of altering the terms of the employment contract of the migrant workers or taking their passports and identifications as leverage. Ang question ko lang ho, Secretary, just to start the ball rolling, yung pre-departure ng ating mga OFWs, are the workers informed of their rights to foreign country as part of the pre-orientation departure seminar? Are they also informed about this kafala system. And at the same time, siguro, yung options that are available to them, when they get into that situation, na alam nila kung ano yung gagawin nila, saan sila pupunta, anong gagawin nila, sinong pupuntahan nila.
Thank you, Your Honor. Actually, before I came, Your Honor, I'm sure the Honorable Senator Lilon is aware of this, yung PIDOS, Your Honor. We have the PIDOS, the Pre-Departure Orientation Seminar. This is supposed to be a briefing, a 6-hour briefing before you leave for deployment. When I came in, I learned about this practice, Your Honors, and I was planning to scratch the whole system, because what can an OFW who is about to leave for deployment learn in 6 hours? So I was planning to introduce some reforms by requiring all agencies to establish a training center. If you cannot put up a training center, then you cannot qualify as a recruitment agency. That is being studied already by Administrator Olalia, Your Honor, of POEA. Pero yung talagang problema dyan is wala kang matuturo sa loob ng 6 na oras. Source of corruption ito, Your Honors. Even before I joined government, immediately after my term with the late President Cory, I went back to practice. Meron akong kliyente na yun ang negosyo niya, PIDOS. And she asked me to help her in the business by renting a unit in Ermita, a small building there. Then she would conduct PIDOS doon. Instead of 6 hours, 30 minutes lang. Instead of 500 pesos, nanginingil lang 1,000. But that's my client, Your Honor. So, pero wala talagang naaral dyan sa 6 hours. Because we should require all our agencies to establish a training center so that all our OFWs who will be deployed will be properly briefed on where they're going, what they will expect there, what are the laws, the culture that they will meet when they go to the foreign country. Yun ang kailangan natin, Your Honors.
Yung kafala system, sir, I don't know if our Department of Foreign Affairs would give us some information. Meron ba tayong nakasuhan na migrant worker because of this, umalis lang? Kasi nakalagay ho dito, they may face criminal charges.
Okay. Regarding the kafala system, first, it's just to clarify po, it's a sponsorship system sa Middle East that's unique in the sense that the sponsor is not just a sponsor or employer as we understand it, especially in the West. But the sponsor actually becomes the owner of the household, of the service worker, of the domestic, in the concept of chattel. It's a slave. It's actually. Wala po.
So talagang kafala mukha yan.
Yeah. Ano po siya? And then besides, wala pong nakakasuhan pa. Well, it's not so officially stated. It is so in practice po. Just to clarify po, this is manifested in slave labor conditions such as no days off, no food, 2 to 4 hours of sleep daily, and maltreatment. Often, slave conditions include sexual slavery. In 2017, there were 6,000 abuses that were reported by the embassy. This includes sexual harassment and rape, and shows employer tendencies that border on...
Is it in Kuwait also, sir? All over? Okay.
This is specific to Kuwait. Okay. It's specific to Kuwait. By this token, the problem is very deep-seated and there's no easy solution. The ban, which may or may not be permanent, thus creates an opening for fruitful negotiations. So
That's exactly my point, sir. Bakit pa tayo kailangan magpadala kung klaro na may ganyan? Yung pong Section 4 ng RA 8042 as amended by RA, binanggit po ni Senator Frank kanina, RA 10022, yung Migrant Workers Act, provides protection that ensures that our OFWs are protected in the country where they will be deployed. But based on this information that we have gathered, ang dami ng red flags eh, which should have been alerted long before. For example, first, Kuwait has not ratified and is not a signatory of any conventions pertaining to the protection of migrant workers. Primarily, the 2003 International Convention on the Protection of the Rights of All Migrant Workers and Members of their Families, and the 1975 Convention concerning Migration in Abusive Conditions, and the promotions of equality of opportunity and treatment of migrant workers. Pangalawa, Kuwait Domestic Worker Law. Silent po eh. I think si Kabayan Toots told me about it eh. They're silent on the procedures and penalties that may be imposed in the event that our OFW encounter physical and sexual abuse from their employers, as well as conditions that entitles the OFW for immediate repatriation. I don't know if this is still existing, no? But third, and this is really baffling, why the POEA did not impose the ban sooner, considering the increasing number of deaths. Kanina binabanggit po natin, 2016, 82 deaths. 2017, 103 deaths. Not to mention the thousands of reported cases of abuse. So, yun yung question eh, bakit ngayon lang? As a matter of policy, meron po bang ganon? How many deaths do we need to hear or abuses na must be reported before your office or a government agency will impose a deployment ban?
Can we pursue that question of the chair? Because under the law, the POEA board of POA governing board is supposed to review the deployment situation, the condition in the receiving countries, and is authorized under the law to impose a ban. What action has been taken by the POA governing board, given all of these deaths that is surfacing now, Mr. Secretary?
Thank you, Your Honor. Before you answer, let me just acknowledge Senator Cynthia Villar, our champion for OFWs, who is here. Thank you. Sir, please reply.
Thank you, Your Honor. This representation is the chairman of the governing board.
Okay.
And although we have not adopted this drastic decision to ban the deployment of our OFWs, especially the household service workers from deployment, we by policy have limited the deployment, Your Honor.
No. Have you ever met and discussed these problems that we are now surfacing?
Yes, Your
The
Honor.
deaths of 185 deaths in 2 years. Where are these deaths concentrated? Which country?
This is just Kuwait that we're talking about.
This is just Kuwait that
Senator
we're talking
Dillon.
about. Oh, okay. I thought it was overall. So only in Kuwait, 185 deaths for the last 2 years. Have we met in the last 2 years to check on this and to at least consider a ban for Kuwait?
As I was saying, Your Honors, we, as a matter of policy, we lowered the deployment, number of deployment. Now, the increase in the incidents of death and abuse on our OFWs could also be attributed to so many illegal recruitment, Your Honors. Ang daming mga illegal recruiters.
Oh, yes,
that is why whenever we impose stricter rules and procedures, nahinto mo nga yung valid and legal procedure, this give rise to mga illegal recruiters.
Yes, at the very least, it should have been brought to surface so that public opinion can be developed and pressure can be brought upon the recruitment agencies to stop recruiting for Kuwait. This is one of the areas probably as part of our oversight function, Mr. Chairman, that we should look at.
Yeah, and let me just point out what Senator Dillon is emphasizing. There's a law here that we're talking about, and let's ask the POEA, what are the critical factors that POEA is currently using to identify which countries are deemed restricted for our OFWs?
Your Honors, good afternoon, Your Honors. First of all, good afternoon, Your Honors. First of all, before the POEA allows deployment of workers to other countries, there must be a certification issued by the Department of Foreign Affairs that said country is a labor-compliant country.
Now, was a certification issued for Kuwait?
Yes, Your
Sir.
Honor.
Huh?
Yes, Your Honor.
The DFA issued a certification that Kuwait is a labor-compliant country, complying with conventions like ILO Convention 189 and their national laws protect our workers.
Your
After
Honor,
getting the information about the kafala system from DFA.
may I respond?
Yes,
Please.
Please. We have refused to rate Kuwait as fully compliant. Only partially compliant.
What's the difference in terms of the ability of POA to allow deployment between a partial and a non-compliant and a full compliant? Anong pagkaiba nun?
Ang pagkakaano po niyan is because whenever they also they have been rated as being partially compliant simply for the plain and simple reason that
Sorry?
because they also entertain the cases that we have been filing. In other words, meron po mga kaso itinataas ang through the FA, through the embassy at ano naman po. So in a sense, it's a I don't know how you term it. Hindi po sila na-term na hindi sila na absolutely rated na hindi compliant but only partially compliant because there is some form of cooperation going on.
Yeah, but even partially compliant, there is actually no ban on deployment. Everybody happy, deployment continues. Ganun po ba yun? Is that how it sounds, Administrator Ulalia?
Sir, we only get, the go signal from the DFA. We will not deploy workers
Okay,
if
so
certain
typical.
countries
So if that's the case kung partially compliant, okay na rin yun.
the rules allows us to deploy, sir. Your Honor.
We need to look at it. Yes, let's...
Now, just to some specifics. First, Mr. Secretary Bello, you have not mentioned the names of the labor attaché, the OWA, the deputy OWA officer who were recalled. Can we have them on the record? Hindi niyo po nabanggit. Sino mga itong... please use the
Kindly
microphone.
use the microphone.
The labor attaché, Your Honor, is labor attaché Alejandro Padaen. The assistant labor attaché, Your Honor, is assistant labor attaché Lily Pearl Guerrero, and the welfare officer is Miss Sara Concepcion.
Are they under investigation?
As soon as they are back, Your Honors, we'll place them under
All right.
investigation. Your
But
Honor.
I assume some administrative case will be filed against them to make them answer,
Yes, Your
to
Honor.
find out whether there was negligence on their part.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, just a few more questions. Who is the recruiter?
May I answer the question, Your Honor?
Please.
The recruiter is Our Lady of Mount Carmel Global E Human Resources Incorporated. In May 18, 2014, when our kababayan OFW Demefelis was deployed, they said the agency is a licensed agency. But
Alright.
in 2016, sir, the recruitment license of the said agency was canceled because of a recruitment violation.
Was because of what?
A recruitment violation, Your Honor.
Recruitment violation.
Yes, sir.
What was the recruitment violation?
We do not know the specific details, but the said license was canceled and it was never reinstated after that cancellation.
Because we know that the recruiter is jointly and severally liable for at least money claims that are due to our overseas Filipino workers. How much was there any amount that was recovered?
There is an escrow deposit supposedly of 1 million for every licensed recruitment agency, Your Honor. But the said escrow deposit of 1 million was garnished by the NLRC because of another pending case, which was decided by the NLRC.
Was whoever was who was the employer of Miss Dimapiles? Was he an original employer, or was he past? Was the OFW was our country? Was Miss Dimapiles moved, transferred? Or was there a contract substitution?
We suppose he is the original
I'm sorry?
employers. We suppose, Your Honor, they are the original employers.
Is the
Original, yeah.
Because you have not investigated who are the recruiter. Why have we not called in the recruiter?
There is an ongoing investigation, Your Honor, in the POA regarding this recruitment
What
agency.
kind of investigation? There can be criminal liability here.
Yes, Your Honor. We're investigating the nature of the circumstances on the deployment, the liability of the recruitment agency, even if the recruitment license has been canceled, and the liability of our POA personnel who handled the notice of repatriation request sometime in January of 2017.
All right. Okay, what's the name of the recruiter? I mean the person who owned.
Yes, sir. Our Lady of Mount Carmel. Global
Yes,
E.
but juridical ano yan eh. That's the agency. Who is the name? What is the name of the owner of that agency? And is he the one? Oh.
Yes, this is a corporation, Your Honor.
Yes, I know, but who is the president? Who is the majority stockholder?
Your Honor, may I?
Yes,
The
please,
owner
Secretary
is Mr. Padilla Fars Kawed Al-Qudor.
Huh?
Padilla Fars Kawed Al-Qudor.
Is he a foreigner?
Foreigner, Your Honor.
My goodness gracious. Huh? So why was a license issued to a foreigner when in fact a license is supposed to be issued? A foreigner is not supposed to be an officer or a stockholder of a recruitment agency. That's specific under the law. Huh? Why?
The owner is a Filipino.
The what?
Recruitment agencies are recruitment licenses are issued only to Filipino nationals,
Yes,
Your Honor.
but the name here appears to be a foreigner, and the secretary said he is a foreigner.
The name mentioned by the Honorable Secretary refers to the Foreign Recruitment Agency, Your Honor.
Oh, I'm talking.
The counterpart of the local
recruitment
recruitment
agency is who is the owner of the local? Who is the majority stockholder in the local recruitment agency?
Yes. We will provide this committee of the complete names.
Can we get
Why not? Why is this a secret or you do not
No,
know?
Your Honor. No, Your Honor. We do not have the data right now, but
Oh,
we will.
my goodness. You know how many days already passed since this was discovered up to now? We still do not know. That means you're not really exerting effort. Huh?
Your Honor, we have it right now. The president is Adrian R. Briones.
Adrian Briones.
R. Briones.
Have you invited Adrian Briones to a session or questioning? None.
He will be invited.
He will be invited. You have not
hearing, Your Honor.
invited him up to this point. Right?
The committee is set to invite everyone
Yes,
who is a
all
person
right.
of interest in
Okay.
the investigation, Your Honor.
Now, you know, just again on a point of implementation. The secretary testified and informed us that it was over a year ago when the sister of the Mapiles reported that they could not find their sister. That was 1 year ago. Huh? There is a provision in Section 20 of the Migrants Workers Act. It says, establishment of a shared government information system for migration. This is supposed to provide by law for a system so that there is a networking of information. the moment this kind of information is received by the agency, the Department of Foreign Affairs, the Commission on Filipino Overseas, the DOLE, the Department of Justice, Bureau of Immigration, etc., mga isang dosenang agency are supposed to share this information. What happened here? Why is this not working? Is there, Mr. Secretary, is there any need to amend this law, or is there a question of lack of implementation?
I will agree with the Honorable Senator that it is a matter of implementation, Your Honor.
Has not been implemented.
Yes, Your Honor.
And maybe something could have been done. I do not know what. If he was missing. By the way, has it been the time of death and the date of death, has that been established?
The death, Your Honor, has not yet been established. The time of the death of OFW Demophilus has not been established. Because as I was saying, Your Honor, there is still a difficulty in the conduct of the autopsy. Because the body of the OFW, Your Honor, was so frozen that they could hardly identify even the fingerprint.
You know, so if we, I go back, again, the law is very detailed, very clear, and if this was implemented, maybe we would not be confronted with this kind of situation today, especially with 185 deaths. Ano ba naman yan? Ha? Dalawang taon, 185 deaths, and we have not done anything until nangyari ito. We have not taken any policy step to prevent or to at least put in place.
Your Honor, if you recall,
yeah.
I mentioned that earlier I issued a suspension order, Your Honor. This is a reaction to the rising incidents of death and maltreatment of our OFWs.
So,
I issued an order, Your Honor, suspending the processing and issuance of OECs. And exempted from this suspension is only to the balik manggagawa, Your Honor.
just a few points. Now, first, has it been clarified that the ban applies only to, or are we saying that the ban applies to future deployment? What about those who are already in place? Now, how about the professionals, skilled workers? Are they covered by the ban?
Yes, Your Honor. It is a total ban, total deployment ban, covering not only the household service workers, but also the skilled workers, Your Honor.
And what happens to those with live contracts?
Those with live contract will be respected, Your Honor. That is why also exempted from this total ban is the case of balik manggagawa. Those who are coming
Vacationing,
home for vacation and they can go back.
Pero alam mo, madaling sabihin yan. But if you are the engineer there, you are there, you're supposed to go on vacation. Ang takot mo lang umalis sa Kuwait, baka hindi ka na makabalik. Hindi ka
You
na
know what,
alis.
Your Honor, I know, Your Honor. That's why many of them even called before they would come home. But I assured them, I came up with a very strong information dissemination that those who are coming home for vacation are not covered. But having said that, Your Honor, we also made very sure that this issue of balik manggagawa will not be used as a way of circumventing the ban. Kasi ang dami ring mga Your Honors, mga fake OECs. Marami diyang mga agencies na pinapalabas nila na yung bumabalik na yung trabahante ay babalik magbagawa, pero hindi. That is why I instituted a mechanism na pagdating sa airport, dalawang mag-check. I-check ng POA and counter-check ng OWA para sigurado natin na yung balik manggagawa daw ay talagang balik manggagawa.
Thank you, Secretary, no? And thank you, Senator Drilon. I just wanted to also ask questions on that particular issue, you know, but I'll go with that later because Secretary Bello, talaga hong nagkaroon ng panic at gulo doon sa Kuwait. Kasi personal ho, ako mga kabarkada ko nandun nagtatawagan, anong mangyayari sa amin? Kaming skilled workers, live yung contract namin. And then the Dole Administrative Order number 54A was issued only after 2 days. So mamaya siguro pag-usapan natin, ano ba yung protocol? Ano ba yung ginagawa natin para dito no sa mga ganitong situations? Before we go on, let me acknowledge one of the authors of these resolutions that we are tackling, Senate Resolution 636, Senator Grace Po. Thank you. And before I give the floor to Senator Nancy Binay, papaalala ko lang po sa mga kaibigan natin sa POEA, yung binabanggit ni Senator Frank, nandun po sa RA 10022. I-highlight ko po yung 3 guarantees from the host country for the protection of our OFWs. Nakalagay po dyan, has existing labor and social laws protecting rights of all workers, including migrant workers. Number 2, signatory or ratifier of conventions, declarations, and resolutions relating to the protection of workers. And number 3, bilateral agreement with the government. Sana maintindihan po natin ito. I give the floor to Senator Nancy Binay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Siguro dugtungan ko lang ho yung tanong ni Senator Drilon. And for siguro clarification, ibig sabihin ho ba neto, yung mga new contracts, wala na hong makakaalis kahit may ticket na sila, nakagastos na sila dun sa pagpunta nila sa Kuwait?
Tama po yan, Your Honor. Walang distinction. Basta bago kang deployment, hindi ka pwede po. Covered ka ng total ban po.
At meron ho ba tayong binibigay na assistance para ho dun sa kanila? Kasi alam niyo ho, itong mga to, kumbaga, na yung susweldohin nila sa Kuwait, naka-set aside na yan, pangbayad sa ano nila, sa hulog nila sa bahay, pang tuition fee ng anak. So for the meantime, na wala ho silang trabaho, ano hong tulong ang binibigay ng ating pamahalaan?
I understand your concern, Your Honor. That is why, in my meeting with about 300 of them yesterday afternoon, I told them na the reason why we imposed the total ban, deployment ban, is because we want that if we send anybody, any Filipino to Kuwait to work, we must be guaranteed that he or she is properly and secured and safe. Ngayon, sabi ko sa kanila, bigyan nyo lang kami ng panahon because on February 28, the team of Undersecretary Arellano will go to Kuwait to discuss with their counterpart technical working group and finalize yung memorandum of agreement between our country and Kuwait. And sabi ko sa kanila na the moment we will sign this memorandum of agreement, this in a way can give us some assurance na yung ating madideploy na kababayan natin ay mabigyan ng sapat na protection. And this could probably give the President the reason to recall the total ban. So, naintindihan naman po nila, Your Honor.
But for the meantime, meron ho ba kayong binibigay na financial assistance or tinutulungan niyo ho ba silang makahanap ng trabaho dito?
Ang gusto kasi na talaga bumalik sa po doon, Your Honor. Pero yung assistance meron po because these are OFWs. So we give them financial assistance that is handled by OWA, Your Honor.
And are you also studying the option na baka pwede for the meantime yung ang ban lang dun sa HSW, tapos baka pwedeng payagan na natin yung mga skilled workers na
In fact, Your Honor, I open to them yung mga positions that were offered by the former Senator Manny Villar, Your Honor, because he's looking for 18,000 workers. And we told them...
can I answer?
Yes, ma'am.
Because they said that they are pending workers, construction workers in Saudi Arabia. That's why the government will send a delegation there to recruit them back to the Philippines. And if we're talking of construction worker, then there is a place in the Philippines because we have this build program and we're getting short of construction worker because of this. Even the private sector is having a hard time recruiting construction workers. So we are very interested with regards to construction workers. So I don't know if the profile of those in Kuwait are construction worker, but definitely we're talking of those who are stranded in Saudi Arabia. And they said we will send a delegation to recruit them back to the Philippines because they do not want to go back to the Philippines because they think they will not find jobs in the Philippines. So we have to assure them that they can find jobs in the Philippines in construction. Okay, that's the...
Tama po yun, ma'am. Yung kasing kausap ko kahapon, ma'am, ay yung, Your Honor, ay yung mga skilled workers. Maraming mga carpentero, engineers. That is why I told them na former Senator Villar is looking for 18,000 construction workers. Sabi ko baka pwede niyong kunin as an alternative job placement.
If you will bring us there to recruit, we will send people to recruit. In fact, we're building TESDA schools now. We don't teach. We ask those schools accredited with TESDA to teach.
Consultant ako
But we construct the building where they will study, but we are not operating them. We will ask the TESDA accredited school to operate them so that we will have a supply of construction workers. We really have difficulty finding construction workers nowadays, the skilled ones. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So that
Yes,
is an
ma'am.
assurance.
Yes, ma'am. I would like to confirm the statement of the Honorable Senator. Kasi I think mid-March, Your Honor, we are sending a team headed by Chairman Administrator Kakdak and Director Tutay of our Bureau of Labor Employment. And their trip will be to Qatar and Saudi Arabia for the purpose of conducting a job fair, Your Honor. And that's the reason why we got the profile of all the job position that is needed by the company of the former Senator Manny.
Siguro, Secretary, mga more or less, ilan ho ba yung affected ng total ban sa Kuwait?
So far po ang dumarating po sa amin mga a little over 500, Your Honor.
Siguro, pakiusap ko na lang ho, baka pwede magtulungan ng DOLE, DSWD, OWA, POA, baka pwede naman ho natin bigyan sila ng financial assistance or baka for the meantime, pwede nyo bigyan ng livelihood program.
Meron po, ma'am. Kasi mga OFW to, ma'am. So, they're entitled to assistance sa OWA po, ma'am.
Sige pa. Moving to another topic. POEA, may data ho ba kayo kung ilan yung mga missing OFWs natin? Do we have a database? For example, Kuwait, ilan yung missing dyan? UAE, meron ho bang...
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor. Meron po tayong data po yan.
Can you please submit to the committee? I guess, yung OWA, meron din ho ba?
Meron din. Ano po, ma'am?
Mga missing OFWs.
Yes, meron po. And ma'am, can I also clarify yung sa deaths? We have recorded for the last 3 years 196 deaths in Kuwait.
Nadagdagan pa.
2016 to 2018. Can I clarify the breakdown? Can I specify?
Please,
79% were medical cases. 7% were accidents.
Siguro, when you say medical, ano ba yun? Nagkasakit?
Nagkasakit, natural causes, yes.
Hindi naman ho pinainom ng lason yan, sir.
Hindi po, kasi merong category ng alleged suicide or crime, which is 11% or 22. And then undetermined or specified would be 5, that's 3%. So 79,
Sorry, yung suicide is 11%?
11%, 22 cases.
Wow.
Yes. And we note that the numbers increased last year. So in fact, that's the one of the main reasons why there was a suspension.
Yeah, I asked that question because I would also ask later si Secretary Leco tungkol dun sa mga welfare attaches. And I heard na yung nasa Kuwait mag-expire na this month. So I hope may ano yun po tayo. Sorry.
Siguro, last question, Mr. Chair, para to give the other senators a chance. Balikan lang ho natin yung case ni Joanna. Di ba ho sa Kuwait, kailangan sponsored kayo ng Kuwaiti employer. Tama po ba? But si Joanna ho, yung employer niya, Lebanese tsaka Syrian. So, do we assume that hindi niya original employer itong Lebanese tsaka Syrian?
2014 po ng May nang ma-deploy yung ating kababayan sa Kuwait. At ang usual tenure po or term ng employment contract is 2 years. So kung May 2014, May 2016, dapat yung termination po ng kanyang employment contract. Eh, hindi na po siya makausap noon.
Pero
in
kasi diba,
2016.
hindi, going back to, because I assume na by this time, dapat may case file na kayo kay Joanna.
Meron po.
So, dapat na-trace yun na kung sino yung Kuwaiti na nag-sponsor sa kanya para makapunta ng
Yes, ma'am.
Kuwait.
Meron
And
po tayo.
can you please tell to the committee yung pangalan ng original employer? Siguro baka si Miss Araneta alam.
Good afternoon po, Your Honors. Ang Kuwait po is allowed to hire ng ibang lahi as long as qualified po sila dun sa merong minimum wages of 500 dinars yung magka-partner. So it's about minimum of 1,000 dinars. Siya po yung original na employer. Nagkataon po, nag-renew po siya ng kanyang kontrata. I mean, nag-extend po siya. So, allowed po sa Kuwait po, not necessarily pag kumuha ng domestic worker na nasa Kuwait ka, ay kailangan Kuwaiti ka. Basta inallowed po. Kasi the original employer is a businessman. Nagkataon lang na na-bankrupt.
But the original employer ho was a Kuwaiti national.
Hindi po. Lebanese po siya kasi allowed naman po sa Kuwait as long as namimit po nila yung requirements na binigay ng Kuwaiti government para makakuha sila ng sarili nilang katulong. It so happened na qualify po siya kasi nung earlier po na kinuha siya ay qualified naman po siya. He businessman po siya. Nagkataon lang lately na bankrupt lang po siya. Can I make additional po? Ang Kefala law po, as far as we know, ay isa pong batas ng sponsorship. Pero ito po ay covered ng batas nila. Okay? Hindi po not necessarily para silang itatratong mga slaves. Hindi po. At isa po ho, ang Kuwait ho, itong way back 2015, naging compliant na po siya kasi may pinasa po kasi silang batas na nagpuprotekta sa mga domestic workers natin. Kasi before, partial compliant lang tayo. So ang ginawa po, ng pinag-usapan namin
I think until now, partial compliant, as mentioned a while ago.
Meron po kasing bagong batas, it was approved ng parliament nila noong 2015, protecting the domestic workers po.
Sige po, yun po ba, for example, yung sinasabi po niyan sa DFA, yung kanina, because of that, malilift na from being partially compliant to becoming full compliant?
Fine, sir.
It remains.
From our side.
So, okay, we'll believe the DFA side no, on this matter. Si Sec Mamao, merong gustong sabihin, sir, on that note?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'm very glad that I'm given this opportunity to see something. First of all, I would like to convey my, conformity with the resolutions filed by the honorable senators. One thing that I would like to emphasize is the existing system that is now prevailing in the Arab countries. One thing that you had mentioned is about this Kipala system. We may have all the base laws in this country to protect the interests of our domestic workers working in different countries in the world. But if we have still this Kipala system in the different parts of the Middle East, we will not have that kind of protection for our workers. First thing, in this Kipala system, the employer, the worker, is tied with the employer. He has control of everything. When the worker, domestic helper, only for domestic helper. It does not apply to professional worker, only on domestic helper. Now, in this Kipala system, the employer controls everything. When the worker arrives, he has the passport, he has the, if he got the ikama, what we call ikama, the worker's permit, the worker will have to be, under the beholden to this employer. He has control of everything. He locked the house, he locked the room, everything. For domestic helpers, they cannot go out of the building. They cannot go out of the house. Everything is locked when the employer is out. That is the situation. Now, I do agree, I think we should support the ban signed by the president. Because this might be a big leverage for signing a bilateral agreement. In Saudi Arabia, they promised to abolish the kipala system by agreeing in a bilateral agreement with an annex that they promised to the Philippine government. But the annex was not preferred. The purpose of the annex is to do away with the kipala system. The only country, I think, in the Middle East where there is what we call a non-applicability of this kipala system, because they had thrown out the kipala system, is in Bahrain. In Bahrain, if you are an employee in Bahrain, even as a domestic helper, you can leave your employer. You can transfer to another employment. But not in the other Middle East countries. So, in my case, I think, in my view, this is a very timely meeting, because then many issues could be discussed that will be framed, that will be, in the future, be the subject of a law that will be passed by Congress to protect the interests of our domestic workers especially. It is very, very unfortunate and very sad that this happened. The case of Dimopilis. The people are now saying that we really have to open up this thing. There must be a reason why it has happened, in order to protect the interests and the welfare of the other domestic, other Filipino domestic workers in the whole world. The one thing also, because in the Middle East, in different countries, there is that non-applicability of the labor laws. The labor laws of Saudi Arabia, the labor laws of Kuwait, do not apply to domestic helpers. So, when these labor laws are not applicable, you are not protected by the international standard on labor. And that is the bottom line. There is no applicability of the labor laws in this country to our domestic helpers. Now, if we are going to continue in the future the deployment of domestic helpers, we should insist that this kipala system should be out. Because no matter how we protect our domestic helpers, if this kipala system will still be applicable in Kuwait, we will still, our domestic helper will still be locked in the room. They cannot go out. They cannot make any contact to the outside world. They cannot send letters. They cannot call. That can be done by the employer. And this happened to the case of Dimopilis. Dimopilis was hired in 2014. Now, for more than a year, as pointed out by the secretary, Dimopilis was already dead, and this goddamn stupid employer ran away from Kuwait. He's a Lebanese, he's a Syrian. So maybe this is again another opening that we should never allow any non-citizen of that country to employ any domestic helper. Because then they are capable of going out. They will just go out of the border of Kuwait, go to Lebanon, go to Syria, and nobody can find them. So I think this is an opening for the House of the Senate to frame up legislation that will help this administration in protecting the interests and the welfare of the domestic workers all over the world.
Thank you very much, Secretary Mamao. At this juncture,
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
siguro lang for submission, kasi nabanggit kanina yung partial compliance. Yusek Abela, can you submit lang to the committee kung ano pa yung mga countries na nagpapadala tayo ng mga kababayan natin, pero partial lang pala yung compliance nila?
We will do that. We do so.
pero meron po, sir, na partial lang pero nagpapadala pa rin. Anyway, sige
No
po.
personal knowledge at this stage.
Apa, we'll wait for the documents, sir. Thank you. We give the floor to Senator Pacquiao.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Secretary on Labor, I was there when the President announced sa pag-total ban sa recruitment sa Kuwait. Nanggigigil ako eh. Maisip ko lang yung mga ginawa nung ano ba yung agreement na dapat pirmahan ng Kuwait doon sa yung memorandum of agreement na hindi pinirmahan? Pwede ba kaming mabigyan ng kopya nun?
Meron pong draft dito, Your Honor. Yung draft MOU. Matagal nang binigay natin sa Kuwait yan. More than 2 years na po, Your Honor. Hindi pinipirmahan. Ngayon na nag-dip yung... I saw your reaction, Your Honor, when the President showed you the pictures of our OFWs. Yung isa, nakaplansya. Saka yung picture ni... and I saw you react, Your Honor. And I can feel kasi manuan ninyo, Your Honor. So anyway, we have a copy of the draft MOU, which they refused to sign until now. But with the declaration of a total deployment ban, Your Honor, suddenly the ambassador came to me twice and asked me to form a technical working group for the purpose of discussing and finally, hopefully, come up with the final.
What is
MOU.
inside in the agreement that they don't want to sign? Bakit hindi nila pirmahan o ayaw nilang pumirma dyan sa agreement na yan?
Mukhang ayaw nila yung gaya ng binanggit ni Secretary Mamao na ayaw nila yung, for example, na yung provision dyan na yung passport nila hindi na pwedeng hawakan. Yung kanilang working hours, unlimited. Ganon, yung ayaw nila yon, Your Honor. Kaya yung cellphone lang po under that MOU, they are supposed to allow our OFWs to hold their cellphone, pero ayaw nila
Mr. Secretary, I think hanggat hindi nila pinipirmahan yung memorandum na yan, huwag natin yung ilip yung total ban sa mga household natin na ipinapadala doon sa Kuwait. Dahil yan ang problema natin yung batas nila. Hanggat hindi nila pinipirmahan yung memorandum natin, pero tanong ko lang, yun bang mga magagandang trabaho ay obligado silang umuwi o hindi? Para kasi nagkagulo yung mga kababayan natin
Hindi po.
Nagtatanong sila, may mga kakilala kami doon, nagtatanong sila na, obligado ba kaming umuwi na maganda man yung namin dito, trabaho namin? Sabi ko, nasa inyo yan kung gusto nyong umuwi, kung minamaltrato kayo ng mga amo ninyo, pwede kayong umuwi. Pero kung maganda naman trabaho ninyo, maganda yung samahan ng amo ninyo, huwag kayong umuwi, pagpatuloy nyo yung ginagawa ninyo.
Tama po, Your Honor, yung advice ninyo because under that order which I issued in connection with a total deployment ban, hindi po sa pilitan na uuwi sila kung ayaw nila. Yung pong inutos, you were there, Your Honor, when the President said, I give you 72 hours to bring home our OFWs. He was referring to those who want to come home.
Yes, at nangyari naman yun at nakabalik yung ibang mga kababayan natin na naghihirap doon. At salamat naman sa mabilisang aksyon ninyo at sa ating mga ahensya ng gobyerno. Anyway, yun bang employer ni Joanna Di Mafilis, paano natin hanapin, paano natin panagutin yun?
Your Honor, the police authorities of Kuwait, through their embassy, assured us that they will utilize the services and cooperation of Interpol in order to search and hopefully capture the couple. Dahil alam naman daw nila yung apartment nung Lebanese doon sa Lebanon. So they assured us that in 2 weeks' time, although medyo duda ako doon sa assurance nila, Your Honor.
Yan ang tamang gawin nila, Mr. Secretary, because kung hindi nila gagawin yan, na ipakita nila yung justice na para sa kay Di Mapiles, hindi magkakaroon ang hindi maganda ang relasyon natin sa Kuwait. Para bang isipin natin mga Pilipino, ako na magsasabi na isipin namin as a Pilipino, isipin namin na masasama ang mga Kuwaiti. Kumbaga ang gobyerno nila dahil hindi nila inaksyonan at ipakita nila 'yan para gumanda yung relation natin ulit sa kanila. Dahil para sa akin, ang sama ng loob ko Ang sama ng loob ko, bakit? Galing kasi ako sa hirap, Mr. Secretary. At yung mga paghihirap ng mga mahirap na tao, nararamdaman ko yun. Dahil pati ari-arian nila, sinangla nila para lang maka-abroad. Tapos, ang nangyari sa kanila, siyempre, proud yung mga magulang dahil naka-abroad yung anak nila, mababayaran yung mga utang, yung mga sinanlang mga ari-arian, tapos, ang sinapit ng anak nila, nawala yung pag-asa nila sa buhay. Kaya, hindi ko mapigilan sarili ko dahil doon ako galing Si Manny Pacquiao naranasan matulog sa kalsada. Kaya alam ko yung mga naramdaman nila Kaya hindi na lang basta-basta yung makakalusot sa akin yung mga ganyang mga pagtrato sa ating mga kababayan. Pero I'm hoping na kayo, tiwala naman ako sa inyo, lahat ng mga ahensya ng gobyerno na may koneksyon at makakatulong para mas protektahan ang ating mga OFW. Naniniwala ako sa kakayahan ninyo na maprotektahan pa natin lalo, especially itong naipasa kong bill dito sa Senado na handbook. Malaking tulong yun para sa ating mga OFW para dala-dala nila yun. Saan man sila magpunta, alam nila kung anong gagawin nila at sinong kukontakin nila. But anyway, pasensya na kayo, naging emotional lang ako dahil pag pinag-uusapan kasi yung mga mahirap na naapi, makakarelate ako dahil kahit ano man tagumpay narating ko sa buhay ko, hindi ko nakakalimutan yung pagiging mahirap, yung buhay ng maging mahirap, puso na maging mahirap. Kaya ako talaga, I agree with the President na hindi natin ililip yung total ban sa pagpadala natin ng mga trabahante sa Kuwait because hanggat hindi nila pinirmahan yung memorandum of agreement natin para pagbigay ng protection sa ating mga kababayan, malaking tulong, malaking bagay ang naiambag ng ating mga OFW sa ating bansa. Kaya dapat lang sa abot ng ating mga kaya, kahit buhay natin, itaya natin para sa kanila din in return of their sacrifices in other countries. So yun po siguro ang gawin natin at marami pa sana akong katanungan pero sa sunod na hearing na lang dahil late yung pag-start natin ng schedule ng hearing at marami pang gustong magtanong. May dalawa pa kaming kasamang gusto magtanong. So yun lang muna gusto kong alamin. Sa sunod gusto kong alamin kung ano nang development ng case ni Joanna Di Mapiles. Anyway, Mr. Secretary, kung yung problema ng magulang niya ni Di Mapiles na nasanla yung lupa, pakisabi po, ako na mag-ano doon sa sanla ng lupa niya. Thank you po.
Salamat po, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
Meron po kaming dalawang may gininto ang puso na kung walang trabaho o naloko dun sa ibang bansa, pwedeng lapitan yung Sipag at Tiyaga Foundation. At kung ano man yung iba naman, nandito si Senator Manny Villar. Senator Grace, ikaw, nagtataas yata ng kamay si Senator Grace. Okay po. Pero gusto ko lang pong linawin yung sinabi ni Senator Manny, no? Hindi naman tayo, ang ibig niya sabihin, kulang yung oras, yung sinabi niyang late. Hindi naman tayo late nagsimula ng ng committee hearing. It was scheduled at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Kulang lang yung oras. Before I give the floor to Senator Cinta Villar, no, gusto ko lang, baka lang makalimutan nating banggitin yung issue ng accreditation of foreign placement, recruitment, Secretary Bello. I think this is being done by DOLE through Polo. Tama po ba ako? Through our Polo. Ang concern ko lang po, despite of the fact na yung Polo has a process of vetting and monitoring foreign recruitment agency, we still have a high number of reported deaths of migrant workers, including itong horrible death ni Joanna Di Mafelis. I just wanted to ask how we address itong mga foreign recruitment agencies who have violated our laws, labor laws, yung existing penalties na ini-impose natin sa kanila, dito sa mga agencies responsible na nagpe-place sa ating mga OFW sa isang abusive employer.
Before you answer, if I may,
Please.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to clarify na I didn't say we are late, but we scheduled the hearing late.
Ibayin talaga na si Manny. Okay na yun, okay na po yun. Walang problema po doon. Sige po, Secretary Bello. About the foreign recruitment agency, so yung process of
Yes, Your
vetting.
Honor. Yes, Your Honor. It's very clear in our instruction to our officers in the Polo, in all the countries where we have Polos, that any employer or recruitment agency, foreign recruitment agency, who have a black mark, meaning violated yung mga contract, are immediately put under the blacklist. Nabla-blacklist agad sila, Your Honor. Kaya dapat pag ano na nun, automatic na yan.
And if they tend to come up again, mag-put up ulit ng another, meron ba tayong sistema, mechanism na mache-check ko natin yun? For example, namomonitor ho ba natin hindi lang yung pangalan ng foreign recruitment agencies who have violated our laws, including the names, for instance, of its owners of these foreign agencies? Kasi kanina hindi ito sa local, hirap na hirap tayong hanapin pa rin eh. So ito ho ba, kasama po ba ito sa ginagawa natin?
Sa ngayon, Your Honors, slowly we are monitoring the activities of these foreign recruitment agencies. In fact, Your Honor, sa kabaguhan ko dyan, nalaman ko na rin na marami sa mga local, yung mga ating recruitment agencies in the Philippines are owned by the foreign recruitment.
So front lang ho at dami sila.
Oo, front lang yan. If you go to Ermita, Your Honor, makita mo. Ang dami mga Arabo dyan nakaupo sa executive chair.
I hope we do something about it.
Yes, Your Honor.
Anyway, I'll give the floor to Senator Villar. Ma'am.
We are having this hearing to parang magde-develop tayo ng policy based on what we have experienced, di ba? So we after these hearings, I hope we can make the necessary changes sa policies natin para sa ating deployment of OFWs. So ang first question is, meron daw kayong policy na lahat ng magtatrabaho sa Kuwait has to pass through a Kuwaiti local recruiter. May policy. I talked before I came here, I had a dinner and there was this Norwegian woman who has lived in Kuwait for 39 years. Medyo ito daw ay ginawang policy ng ating DOLE na pag gusto mo mag-deploy sa Kuwait, you have to pass through a local Kuwaiti recruitment agency. Sa lahat ng i-deploy sa Kuwait.
Thank you very much, Your Honor, for that information.
Hindi,
Pero,
di ba sabi nyo na dapat may local recruiter there in Sabi nila ganun eh, kasi daw
Hindi po
sila nag-hire sila. Hindi sila pwede na direct hire from the Philippines. You have to have a local recruiter na dadaan sila sa isang Kuwaiti local recruiter para maka-employ sila sa Kuwait.
Siguro can you Secretary Bello, yung process, And kung ganun nga po ba,
The
just to...
expert and that, Your Honor, is our POEA. Siya
Tama po.
Yan, oo.
Sige, ho, let's...
Pero wala akong alam na gano'n, Your Honor. Wala akong
Is
gano'n.
a Norwegian woman living in Kuwait for 39 years. Kasi sinabi ko na, syempre nagdi-dinner kami, sinabi ko sa kanya na galit kami sa Kuwait kasi ano ba yung ginawa dun sa ating kababayan doon. And she was saying na nag-rule daw ang ating embassy kasi na hindi ka pwede mag-employ unless dadaan ka sa isang local recruiter para ma-deploy sa Kuwait.
Sige po, let's listen to Admin Olalia of POEA.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Your Honors. Meron pong 4 na proseso ng pagde-deploy ng mga kababayan po nating OFWs abroad. Unang-una po dito yung agency hired worker kung tawagin natin. Ito po yung
We're
dadaan...
talking of Kuwait, ha? I'm not talking of other
Yes
places.
po.
I'm talking of Kuwait.
Yes po, yes po. Yung agency hired po, ito po yung may local recruitment agency po tayo dito, which is duly licensed and accredited by the POEA. In good standing po dapat sila bago po sila mag-deploy. Pag meron po silang na-commit na violation, immediately we either suspend or cancel their licenses. No? May counterpart po silang tinatawag, yung Foreign Recruitment Agency. Yes, ma'am.
Kailangan yun.
Kasi po meron... Yes, ma'am. Kasi po may tinatawag tayong joint and several liability.
Sabi nila, dati daw hindi requirement yan, yung embassy daw natin ang nag-require niyan. In fact, yun ang hindi daw dating requirement yan that you have to have a counterpart local recruiter in order to be able to deploy sa Kuwait.
Yes, ma'am. Additional level of protection po kasi, ma'am, ang presence ng Foreign Recruitment Agency. Wala po kasi tayong additional level.
Ison doon, additional protection.
Yes, ma'am.
Bakit lalong naging unprotected? Kung additional protection yon. Parang ini-insinuate nitong mga taga-Kuwait, nilagay nyo to para may business doon, additional business doon sa local, and alam daw to ng embassy, ng labor doon. Parang yung araw na in 2014, nagkaroon din tayo ng malaking investigation with regards naman sa Saudi Arabia. Ay yung mga nasa polo sa Saudi Arabia. And then, lumabas doon na ang nagpapahirap doon sa mga nasa polo, yun ding mga labat natin doon. Di ba? Pinauwi yung labat doon. Kasi siya at yung driver niya yata ang umaapi doon sa mga nadadala sa polo. Ito, parang sinasabi nung Norwegian woman, ito nagpapahirap kasi lalong nagkakaluko-luko yung deployment kasi itong requirement na to that you have to pass through a local recruitment agency at dun sila nagluluko, pinapahirapan yung ating. She was saying ang napapahirapan yung domestic helper. Kasi siyempre yung mga domestic helper mas least educated yan kaysa dun sa mga ating ibang OFW. So sila yung napapahirapan doon. Parang ganun ang ini-insinuate niya. In fact, she was saying to me na iban na lang yung domestic helper. Hindi kailangan iban yung other skilled worker, but yung domestic helper, yun daw ang napapahirapan ng husto sa Kuwait. So I was thinking, kaya ko tinatanong, bakit ni-require yun na merong local recruiter counterpart? Dati daw wala naman yon. So, ano reason doon? And you were saying na for better protection. Pero parang ini-insinuate nila na nagiging business, hindi protection. So, I'm just asking the DOLE to review that policy if it is really promoting better protection for our domestic helper, but it's not really providing that, but it's just additional business for our people there in the embassy in Kuwait. Okay?
So let's clarify that, please. Is that something new na matagal lang may ganyan? Just to, yung questions ni Secretary,
Your Honor,
ni Senator Villar.
Yung presence po ng Foreign Recruitment Agency po, matagal na po nating rule sa POEA po yan.
Sabi niya, hindi daw dati requirement yun, ni-require nyo lang. Kailan nyo ni-require yun?
Magmula po nung naupo po kami doon, nandoon na po yung
Kailan
rules.
ka ba naupo doon?
Naging OIC po ako doon, Your Honor, June po ng 2016.
But that's June 2016. Bago lang yon, di ba? Kasi yun sinasabi ng Norwegian women living in Kuwait for 39 years. Natingin niya, doon pa nagkakaproblema yung i-require yon. Kasi parang nagiging additional business pa yon for people. Anyway, I just want the Secretary of Labor to look into that policy, if that policy is really helping our domestic helper. And another one is that yung question na hinanap ng pamilya, hindi nahanap. Kasi based on the story, parang hindi naman siya nagpalit ng employer. Kasi there is a story here that she worked for Nader Essam Asaf, a Lebanese national, and his Syrian wife, Mona Hasun. And then, nag-renew siya, that was in 2014. Nag-renew siya ng contract in 2016. And then, hinanap na siya in September of 2016 ng kanyang family. Noong November 2016, hinahanap siya noong September 2016. Noong November 2016, nag-report yung kanyang Lebanese employer na si Mr. Essam Asaf, filed an absentee report on Ms. Demafelis. So, hindi siya nawawala. Same employer. Sabi ng OWA, hindi siya mahanap. But she's still with the same employer based on this story. Noong November 2016, nag-report yung employer na nawawala siya. Hinahanap na siya noong September 2016. Ba't hindi nalaman ng pamilya niya na naandito siya dito still with Essam Asaf, and nawawala siya, ni-report siyang nawawala noong November 2016. So hindi siya, nag-renew lang siya ng contract, pero hindi siya nagpalit ng employer. Pareho pangalan Tama ba to?
Can someone confirm that story? Hindi niyo ba?
Your Honor, we have a different story, pero almost similar, Your Honor.
Kasi pinabasa ko lang kasi 2016, 2014, ito yung kanyang employer, Nader Essam Asaf. Tapos sabi nyo, ni-renew yung contract noong 2016 after 2 years. Ang nag-report siyang nawawala November 2016 after 2 years is Mr. Essam Asaf. Di pareho din, di ba? She's still with the same employer, but hindi siya mahanap.
Your Honor, our information is to the effect that yung the guy you're mentioning as her employer is the second employer, Your Honor. Yung Lebanese.
First employer niya is Mr. Nadar Essam Asaf, a Lebanese national, and his Syrian wife. Dito, yung nag-report is her Lebanese employer filed an absentee report in November 2016, which is yung time na hinahanap na siya ng pamilya niya. Do you think yung Essam Asaf dito, iba pa dito sa Nader Essam Asaf? Para pareho. Diba?
Your information may be more accurate, Your Honor, because what we obtain, the information we obtain is that...
Saan ba ito kukunin? Pinick up lang to somewhere ng
kaya nga,
staff.
Your Honor, could be mas accurate yung information nyo. Kasi yung aming information...
Naglagay kayo ng policy na you have to pass through a local recruiter, di ba? O hindi pa siya nagpapalit ng employer, ba't hindi siya mahanap do sa local recruiter, samantalang sinasabi nyo lang na nawala yung Filipino recruiter, pero merong local recruiter sa Kuwait na saan siya nag-file ng absentee report?
As I was saying, Your Honor, your information could be correct. Because our information, I could not rely on our information, Your Honor, because the information we got are from the people whom I recalled for their inaction. Kaya maaring mas accurate po yung information that you have, Your Honor. Kasi yung aming information, our information came from our polo, and as I mentioned earlier, these are the people that I recalled for their inaction. Dahil nung nag-report yung kapatid nilang babae na si Jessica, as early
Dapat
as
nahanap,
2000.
diba?
Opo, nag-report na nawawala yung kapatid nila, hindi inaksyonan. And they never inform us about this report. We only came to know about demophilis when we were informed na nakita nilang naka-frozen na, Your Honor. Kaya maring tama po kayo.
So, ibig sabihin, hinanap, bakit may local recruiter ka to protect our domestic helper, hinanap, hindi mahanap, samantalang ang employer, the same pa rin, di ba? Paano hindi nahanap?
On that point, Your Honor, I can agree with you na mukhang hindi tama yung requirement that our agencies here should have a counterpart agency in Kuwait. I don't see any logic doon, Your Honor.
Yung Norwegian woman, parang ini-imply niya sa akin, sabi niya sa akin, you put a total ban on domestic helper. Kawawa lang sila doon, ni-require nila na may local recruiter, ninenegosyo nila yung mga babae together with the local recruiter. Yun ang sabi sa akin. Kaya ko sinasabi sa inyo, hindi naman siguro siya bias kasi she's Norwegian. And then, natutuwa lang siyang tumira sa Kuwait. She has been living there for 39 years. Sabi niya, parang ang nagpapaloko pa daw ng sistema natin, yung requirement na we should have a local recruiter counterpart there. Kasi parang ninenegosyo yung mga babae natin doon with the local recruiter. But anyway, since naging problema natin, maghahanap, hindi nahanap, siguro magagawa natin we should computerize yung records ng ating OFW sa DOLE at sa DFA, di ba? And in that context, magkano ba ho to computerize yung whereabouts ng ating mga OFW? And magkano ba budget ng DOLE? Bakit hindi natin to ma-computerize? Kasi para sa amin din, we will be guided accordingly because we can talk about it in the Senate. If there's a need to put up a budget, just so we can, it's easy to look for our OFWs if the families are looking for them. If we can afford it, then we will put it in the budget of DOLE na to require them to computerize. Lahat ng pupunta sa abroad, alam kung nasaan, para pag maghahanap tayo, hindi magiging reason na hindi mahanap, di ba? O kung may record tayo, nasaan sila? Ilan ba ho ang ating OFWs abroad? And ilan po ang domestic helper doon?
Worldwide, Your Honors, we have about 8 million, Your Honor.
O, ang domestic helper?
Ang domestic helpers natin, limited lang naman dito sa Asia and Middle East countries.
Ilang percent ang domestic helper?
Sa Middle East countries, malaki, Your Honors. Mga, especially like in Kuwait alone, as a way of comparison, 70% yan po.
Now 60, di ba? 60%, kino-compute
70.
ko eh.
70.
Oh. Kuwait lang yon. Pero sa others, kasi there is what do you call this? A study na yung at 80% ng problem natin ay puro problem ng domestic helper. And yet they comprise 20% of the business. Tama ba yon? If you look at it worldwide, 80% ng problema, yung problema ng domestic helper, kasi sila yung kinukulong doon sa bahay, hindi na natin alam kung ano nangyayari sa kanila doon. Alam nyo naman sa ibang culture, yung katulong, sex slaves, at saka, kasi ang kwento po, re-rape nung lalaki, magsiselos yung babae, bubuntalin naman ng babae. O, kaya doble, na-rape na, nabuntal pa. Bakit ba natin padadala pa dun yung ating mga kababaihan? Ito naman mga kababaihan na to, many of them, they're not coming from Metro Manila. They're coming from the provinces. Doon na sila nagre-recruit sa Mindanao. Minsan mga batang-bata, akala nila, pag pumunta sila sa abroad, tourist sila, masarap ang buhay doon. Hindi nila alam, ikukulong sila doon. Tapos re-rapin sila at bubuntalin sila. Hindi nila alam yun eh. Ang mga bata kasi hindi nila alam yung tunay na buhay sa ibang lugar, di ba? Akala nila masarap na buhay yung pupunta nila. And they are paid how much? Magkano ba ho ang sweldo ng domestic helper? Alam ko documented is $400, but ang tunay na bayad magkano?
Opo, tama po yun na
Oh.
alam nyo, Your Honor.
Hindi, yun ang nakadocument, pero hindi yun ang binabayad. Sabi nila, 200 lang daw. Tama ba yun? Oh, yun ang reality. Oh, kung $200 lang computin na natin kung ilan yan, yung mga walang hiyang mga country sa domestic helper. Iba
Your Honor,
na natin.
Hindi po totoo yan, Your Honor. The salary that they get is $400, Your Honor.
Yeah, that is the legal. But if you ask them, how much are you paid? 200. Minsan nga 150 pa di ba? Totoo ba yun? Tinatanong ko nag-i-interview ako kung ganun lang kaliit, di padala na lang natin yung ating mga professional at ang ating mga skilled worker. Iba na natin yung domestic helper at gumawa na lang tayo ng programa dito for them to be employed here. As I was saying, meron akong test na school ng pag-welding. Ang aking valedictorian is a woman. Ang dami-daming kailangan welder sa Pilipinas. Malaki pa sweldo. Tapos yung mga hotel, pwede sila doon. Di ba? Maglilinis, maggagawa ng beds, magluluto, kayang-kaya nila yon. Di gumawa na lang tayo ng programa at piliin natin yung country na malilupit sa mga domestic helper. I-total ban na natin yon, di ba? Pagtiisan na natin. Alam nyo, nung mauso yung domestic helper, mahirap pa Pilipinas. That was years ago. Mayaman na tayo ngayon. We are going to be a middle class country. Upper middle class country by 2022. Yan ang kaya sila nagbi-build para maging upper middle class country tayo by 2022. So, hindi na yung kondisyon natin noon ang kondisyon natin ngayon. Ihanap na lang natin dito ng hanap buhay ang mga babaeng yan. Huwag natin padala sa Kuwait. Kawawa naman sila doon at dakado sa malulupit na bansa, di ba? Pwede dito sa Asia, mas mabait sila dito. But Kuwait, Middle East, medyo mabigat yan. Kasi lahat po ng pinauuwi namin mga babae, puro nabubuntal dun sa loob ng bahay, sa kanilang mga employer. Wag na natin gawin yun, di ba? So, in this aspect, gusto ko po na we will work na makomputerize yung whereabouts ng ating OFW. Pwede nyo pa kayong magpa-quote kung magkano i-computerize para malaman natin kung nasaan sila, pag hinahanap sila. And then if we can afford it, the Senate will provide for the budget to have them computerized kung saan sila. And then at the same time, iba natin yung domestic helper sa mga countries na malulupit sa ating domestic helper. So, thank you very much. Yun lang po.
Thank you, Senator
Thank you,
Villar.
ma'am. Thank
We
you very much.
cannot agree more. Pasensya na no? Kasi talagang press for time tayo. Until now, hindi pa ho nakakapagsalita sila Miss Villa, sila Sir Hernando, Miss Nuki, sila Miss Toots Oble, etc. Si Secretary Leiko, tsaka si DDG Rose Ordaneta. But I'll give the floor now to one of the authors ng resolution ito, Senator Grace Po.
Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Nais ko lang klaruhin, tama ba yung datos na sa 2 taon lamang lagpas 100 ang namatay sa Kuwait? Tama ba yon?
Tama po, ma'am.
So, talagang may pinanggagalingan, may dahilan kung bakit magagalit talaga ang Pangulo bilang tagapamuno ng ating bansa. Mukha talaga tayong inaapi dyan. Nakalain mo, 2 taon, 180 plus ang namatay. Malaki pong kawalan yan. Ngayon, nais kong malaman kasi meron tayong Migrant Workers Act of 95, RA 8042. Ang ibig sabihin po niyan ay dapat nagre-report sa Kongreso 2 beses 1 taon sa status ng mga distressed OFWs sa ibang bansa. Obviously, sa ibang bansa. Nais natin malaman, dahil wala na tayong oras, isabit nga ninyo yung compliance ninyo, nabigay ba ninyo sa Kongreso sapagkat maaari din namin kayong matulungan dito. I'll just go through the list so that the others will have a chance. So that's one. Secretary Bello, are you aware of this?
To answer that, ma'am, October 2017, we submitted our report to Congress.
Okay, and that time, was Ms. De Mafelis' name there? Are you aware of it?
I presume, ma'am, that included yung pangalan niya dahil she was validly deployed, ma'am.
Okay.
Your Honor, Your Honor.
Okay, that's fine. So that's important to note, and I think me and my colleagues now were more aware of this, should really look into that and then follow up also with the DFA. Yung isa pang tanong dito, no, paki-enumerate nga ang talagang benepisyo. Kunyari ako, nandun ako, no, uwi ako dito, dahil for sure may mga nanonood sa Facebook. Kasama na ako sa mga pauwi ng gobyerno. Anong makukuha ko pagdating ko dito? Sino ang sasalubong sa akin? Saan ako dapat pumunta para makuha ko ang paunang tulong na yan, sir?
Your Honor, although I could give you the answer, mas maganda siguro kung pakinggan natin si Administrator Kaglak, who is in charge, who is the administrator of OWA, and he knows all the benefits and how
Sure.
these benefits are extended, Your Honor.
Very quickly, sir. Just, I have a few more questions. Very quickly.
Very quickly, ma'am. They are granted airport assistance once they arrived, which basically means yung assistance po sa kanilang temporary shelter if they need a place to stay
Meron yun.
en route to going home.
Okay,
Free
tanggapan.
free transport going
Okay.
home,
Mm-mm.
whether land, sea, or air. Meron pong livelihood benefit sa mga returning distressed workers, yung balik Pilipinas, balik hanap buhay benefit. It used to be a 10,000 peso non-cash benefit, but last May, the OWA board turned it into a 20,000 peso cash benefit. So double the amount. And then po, pwede rin po silang offeran ng skills training kung gusto nilang mag-upgrade ng skills. May skills for employment scholarship program po. There's a special cash assistance that's given to amnesty grantees. So nung nagkaroon po tayo ng amnesty sa Saudi last year, including the amnesty in Kuwait this year, meron pong 5,000 pesos to the amnesty grantees
Okay,
upon arrival.
so just to be clear, sa ating mga kababayan na OFW, pag umuwi kayo dito, dapat may sasalubong sa inyo. E paano kung nahiwalay ang flight? Saan sila pwedeng pumunta na desk sa airport? Or anong tanggapan?
Po tayong OWA counters, ma'am, sa lahat ng airports.
Okay.
At pwede po lumapit doon.
Maraming salamat sa pag-enumerate. Malaking tulong yan. Pero wag natin kalilimutan na in 2016, out of the 50 million na dapat mapunta for the resolution of OFW cases for their eventual repatriation, out of 50 million, only 1.3 million was used. So siguro we should be able to utilize all the funds available. If we need to realign it later on, legally of course, under the law we should be able to do that. Another thing, alam mo, yung kefala system na sinasabi, so nakatago yung passport. But does that prevent the embassy or a representative of the embassy to do spot checks on the employers? Kunyari ako'y kawani ng embassy, pwede ba akong pumunta doon at sabihin, kamusta na yung katulong namin dyan? Or how is our Filipino citizen there? Are they obliged to answer and to physically show the individual, sir?
Your Honor, apparently that is done on a regular basis.
No, but so that's allowed by their kefala system,
Yes.
correct? So this is a way around it, just to
Yes.
check on the physical status of that. Kasi yan ang pwede nating reverse stock-hang sa kanila. Sila yung pupuntahan natin para masiguro buhay ang ating mga kababayan doon at maayos.
And besides, Your Honor, the present system now allows for the embassy to demand the passport.
Okay, we should be able to do that.
Yes,
I know, but we're also so understaffed. In fact, that was the reason why Sara Concepcion, apparently, your OWA officer said that she couldn't follow up properly kasi talagang ang daming kaso. So we should take our lead from this, and if we need to resolve it from here and send more people. And lastly, I think Senator Villares really made a point, an important point here. What we can do now is reverse employment. The country may not necessarily be very wealthy, but certainly we have a demand now for more workers, and I think we should go there. We should partner up with the private sector to recruit abroad. Maybe station themselves once a month when there are Filipino gatherings abroad. This is what we need. Kasi kulang talaga tayo. So reverse employment po, tayo naman ang mas may kayang kumuha sa kanila at aalagaan pa sila. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Senator Grace po.
May
If
I-
right now you need a master plumber, master carpenter, for example, you need 100 or 50, even 10, we would hardly
Your Honor,
find.
may I respond to the
Sure, please, Secretary
proposal?
Bello.
Yeah. Your Honor, with respect to the counter, counter repatriation, the group of the former Senator Manny and our group, Your Honor, are going there mid-March in Qatar and in Saudi Arabia to hold a job fair. And we bring there a profile of about 18,000, which needed by the company of former Senator Villar. So able to recruit our OFWs, get them back.
I'm
Your
sure
Honor.
they need more. Thank you, sir. Just to recognize Senator Mig Subiri, I think he has a very quick question.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Secretary. Good morning. Good afternoon to all my friends in the other secretaries of the department, members of the different agencies. I heard yesterday na isa sa mga kababayan po natin taga Negros, kasi I'm originally from Negros Occidental before we migrated to Bukidnon, by the name of Josie Perez Lloren, had passed away recently on her. She arrived alive in the Philippines, but because of massive, according to them, bruising and internal bleeding, namatay po siya. Pagdating niya dito, hindi nga siya nakaabot buhay sa kanyang tanggapan sa Negros. Patay na po siya. Pagpasok sa ospital, doon siya namatay. Meron po kayong update dito sa nangyari? Galing din po ba siya ng Kuwait, Secretary?
Hindi yata sa Kuwait, Your Honor.
Saan po siya galing, Secretary?
Yeah, I think she came from also from Kuwait. But her
Oh my God.
case is that
Ano po yung case niya po?
natapos yung contract niya, and without telling the embassy and our polo, she went home. So our people in polo and the embassy were never aware na umuwi na siya.
Pero ang balita daw ng pamilya doon sa amin na Secretary is due to the fact of abuse and negligence. Nagkaroon na siya ng internal, what I was told is, nagkaroon po siya ng internal bleeding dahil hindi siya pinapakain doon. Parang they starved her to death. What's the report? There's no report on your office that she passed away due to...
There was a report. There was a report, Your Honor,
Yes.
that she passed away when she was already in the Philippines.
Pero due to these circumstances?
Opo,
Or natural causes?
Natural causes. Ang sinabi nila, they never learned na she left quiet. Hindi siya nagpalam sa embassy, hindi rin po siya nagpalam sa polo. Kaya they were not aware of the fact na she went home already.
Yung circumstances of her death, Secretary. Okay na po yun. We understand na hindi po kayo sinabihan, Sec. Pero yung circumstance ng Kuwait siya galing sa Kuwait. I guess, ang importante kasi sa akin, Mr. Secretary, is to find out the circumstances of her death. Kasi may foul play daw. Do you already have information that foul play may have occurred on her death? Because the family insists na may foul play na nangyari.
For the information of the Honorable Senator and the committee, may I read the report, Your Honor? It says that Polo record shows that the OFW did not seek assistance, nor was she, Polo means the Philippine Overseas Labor Office, or she was among the OFWs confined in any of the hospitals. So there was no report that she was confined in any hospital in Kuwait prior to her departure to Manila. So, nalaman na lang nila when they heard about her death na nandito na siya sa Manila.
Is it possible, Secretary, I know nangyari po ito kahapon, posible bang imbestigahin ninyo to?
Dapat po.
Dapat siguro sa susunod na hearing, meron na po tayong findings. Kasi kung totoo na dahil sa physical abuse, hindi daw siya pinakain, massive internal hemorrhaging and bleeding, nandito na naman tayo sa punto na galing na naman Kuwait ang ating kababayan, na inabuso na naman, and I cannot confirm this until it is confirmed by a medical legal. But if that is the case, Secretary, we should fully support the President's ban, maybe not only in Kuwait, but in other countries where they abuse our women, our workers. Hindi tama po yun. Ang trato nila ay parang slaves. It is really uncivilized and unbelievable yung pinagdadaanan ng ating mga kababaihan dyan. And I'm happy that Ma'am Toots Ople and many of our women leaders here are pushing for the investigations and to go to the bottom of this. But definitely, maganda din yung punto na sinabi ni Tita Cynthia. Sasabihin ko sana, Mama Bear po namin yun dito sa Senado, na baka naman, we can leave it up to the, and that's my last statement, sir, baka po naman pwede naman limit na lang natin sa skilled workers yung pinapadala natin sa mga lugar na yan, yung mga professionals, kaysa ating mga domestic helpers. Napakakawawa naman ang ating mga domestic helpers sa mga lugar na ito. And I'm thankful that the President's taking the lead. I heard that he BS daw the ambassador and a Kuwaiti minister. Tama lang yun. And that is what we expect from a leader. And that's why I'm happy the President did that. And pag pumunta siya doon, I hope that he will BS them again and come up with a long-lasting, how do you say, kasunduan or an agreement para hindi na po ito mangyari sa ating mga kababaihan. There's a trend. Nakalagay dito almost 2 deaths. A death every 2 days. Every 2 days, may may isang babae na mamatay, kababaihan, na kababayan natin sa Kuwait. Unbelievable. Iba natin ito ma-charge sa International Criminal Court. Tayo naman ang mag-charge this time. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, along those lines, nandito na po tayo ngayon. Sinasabi natin may mga papel na nire-report. Pero dito po sa likod ko, sinabi sa akin na migrante, yung asawa niya nawawala na ng 3 taon. Pero sa Jeddah naman ito.
Nandito po si Miss Edeline Eborda Astudillo.
Ang matagal na nawawala, 3 taon po. So,
I hope matulungan po natin sila.
Ito po ay isang imahe ng tunay na nagiging biktima na dapat natin asikasuhan. Salamat po, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Grace. I hope we can extend help to the husband of Edeline Astudillo. Nandito po siya. I know we don't have much time, but I really wanted to hear from Migrants Watch, Migrante, kay Miss Toots Oble. Siguro yung very short lang. Prevailing, frequent issues you have encountered, and based on your assessment, siguro kasama si Ma'am Villa, yung system of licensing and accreditation ng local and foreign recruitment agencies. How can we improve it? Siguro, sige po, Ma'am Nuki.
Your Honor, pwede mag-ano muna?
Yes, please. Yes.
Good afternoon po sa ating lahat. Napakagaganda po ng inyong mga opening statements kanina. And we fully agree. Sir, para marinig mo. Hindi po. Tapos nabanggit kanina ni Senator Drilon yung RA 122. Binasa po doon. Actually, yung RA 10022, amendment po yon nung RA 8042, yung Migrants Workers Act. At yun po ay naipasa nung kaso naman ni floor contemplation sa Singapore, no? At yun po ay kasabay nun, niratify din natin yung UN Convention on the Rights of Migrants and Members of their Families. So para po yun yung compliance natin dun sa UN Convention. Ngayon po, total, nire-review natin to. Baka po pwede nating balikan dun sa 8042, yung Declaration of Policies, letter C. While recognizing the significant contribution of Filipino migrant workers to the national economy through their foreign exchange remittances, the state does not promote overseas employment as a means to sustain economic growth and achieve national development. The existence of the overseas employment program rests solely on the assurance that the dignity and fundamental human rights and freedoms of the Filipino citizens shall not at any time be compromised or violated. The state, therefore, shall continuously create local employment opportunities and promote the equitable distribution of wealth and the benefits of development. So malinaw po dito yung policy natin. Kaya ano na po ang nangyayari dito? Ano nang steps ang ginagawa ng ating gobyerno? Kasi laging dati po, last year, may hearing yung napugutan naman ng ulo. Di ba? May ganitong hearing din. Tapos, pag tinignan po natin ang datos, noong 1995, na kung saan pinirmahan itong batas, ang ating total deployment ay 653,574. Ngayon po, as of 2016, as per the PSA, 2,240,000. No? So, ilang percentage po ang nadagdag? Ngayon, dito sa 2240, 6,137 per day pag dinivide mo into 365. Samantalang dati, 1,791. So kung di natin pinopromote ang migration, bakit dumadami po yung bilang? In spite of the many abuses, deaths, konti pa nga lang po ito, sa ibang countries marami din. Ang pinaka-importante po rin po ay yung social cost ng migration, yung separation ng nanay sa mga anak niya, yung tatay sa mga anak niya. So siguro po, tingnan natin din yun dito sa ating pagre-review. And besides po, yung mga nanay natin, minsan kapapanganak pa lang po, makakasabay mo sa flight, pupunta na sila doon para magtrabaho. Only to be, di ba, maltreated.
Thank you.
And all. Thank
Yes,
you po.
ma'am. Thank you very much. Please, lang po natin dahil magse-session ako. Ms. Tuts Ople.
Yes, opo. Yung storya po ng Kuwait at yung domestic workers natin, makikita nyo sa numbers. Kasi numbers don't lie. So for example po, maltreatment in 2014, 1,273. In 2017, 1,549. Sexual abuse and sexual harassment from 157 in 2014, 243 in 2017. Rapes, 34 cases reported in 2014, 65 in 2017. Ang tanong po dyan, ilan yung kinasuhan? And ilan yung pinauwi after settlements, financial settlements with the employers through the help of the foreign recruitment agencies. Kasi kung titingnan nyo po yung mga numero, I think mas marami yung napauwi kesa dun sa mga employers na talagang hinabol natin. Second po, yung pong negosyo, you also have to understand the economic roots ng problema. One of the most lucrative markets, at nandito yung mga recruitment agencies natin deploying to Kuwait, one of the most lucrative markets for domestic workers is really Kuwait. Kasi matataas ang service fee dyan. Kaya yung mga foreign recruitment agencies, talagang pag binalik sa kanila yung domestic worker, ihahanap lang nila yan kaagad ng lilipatan. Kasi may mga fees yan being collected from Kuwaiti employers. So kahit mahina na yung katawan, may sakit na, yung iba may mental and emotional burdens, demons that they have to live with. Dahil negosyo yan, ililipat lang yan ng lilipat. So, lastly, pag sinara yung ahensya, ano mangyayari sa mga workers na nakakontrata sa ahensya na yon? In the case of Joanna Demafelis, sinara yung recruitment agency niya dito. So, meron bang transfer of records at meron bang sino sasalo dun sa mga under contract sa agency na yun, in this case, Mount Carmel? Today, DOLE again announced cancellation of licenses involving 11 recruitment agencies. Per agency, ilan yung domestic workers na nakakalat sa buong mundo? Sino mag-aalaga? Sino mag-a-account sa kanila? Baka may mga missing din. So marami pa po. And last na lang po, if you scratch any incident of abuse involving OFWs in Kuwait, hindi po illegal recruiter. Licensed recruitment agency po ang kausap ng worker. They went through the proper process, which means there is really something wrong. And in the same way na in 1995, nung ni-execute si floor contemplation, nagkaroon ng Migrant Workers Act. Sana po dito, dahil sa pagkamatay ni Joanna, tingnan natin yung amendments, hindi lang sa Migrant Workers Act, kundi pati sa POEA rules at saka sa DFA certification and recommendation process.
Po, thank you. No? Kanina binanggit nyo yung economic impact, kaya kasama ho natin ang NEDA rito, but because of lack of time, we'll give one minute each, please, to Mr. Hernando. And,
Magandang hapon po. Kami po sa Migrante International may dalawa pong mayor na punto na gusto po nating ikonsidera ng komite sa inyo pong pagdinig. Una po, yung mga kamag-anak po namin mga OFW sa ibayong dagat po ay matagal na pong nagtiis, marami po nasirang buhay. Ang kailangan po natin na may resulta nitong komite ay magkaroon ng proteksyon sa aming mga kababayan. Kailangan po nating i-assess, i-review yung mga programa at palisiyan ng ating gobyerno. Kailangan po tignan natin yung ano na ba, yung kung sa Kuwait po meron na pong mga bilateral agreements na pinirmahan previously. May nakuha po kami na 1997 at 2012 na bilateral agreements. At nung 2012 pa nga po, meron pang nabuo na Philippine-Kuwait Joint Monitoring Group para tiyakin na yung karapatan ng ating mga migrante ay napoprotektahan. Ngayon po maganda, matignan natin, assess natin, ano po ba nangyari dito sa bilateral agreement na to. At kasabay po nun, maganda pong malaman, i-reveal po ng ating Department of Labor and Employment yung bilateral agreement na gusto nilang isumite sa Kuwaiti government. At ito po ba ay yung solusyon na sa ating mga problema ng mga domestic helpers natin. Gusto po namin bilang mga OFWs at pamilya na maging bahagi po nito at yung mga hinaing at mga pangangailangan po namin ay lamanin po nito mga bilateral agreements. Dahil po kung wala po ito, baliwala po kahit po yung total ban na idineklara ni Pangulong Duterte. Pangalawang punto po.
Thank you, sir. Sorry kasi we're having a session now, no? We cannot conduct a hearing pag may session. Pasensya na ho kayo.
Okay po.
But just to give credence also to what you're saying, there are 4 treaties na hindi sinasign ng Kuwait. Convention 97 on Migration for Employment and Recommendation, Convention 143 Migrant Workers, Convention 181 on Private Employment Agencies, Convention 189 concerning decent work for domestic workers. Pasensya na po, I will call another hearing as soon as possible. Pasensya na po. I'm not even going to read my closing remarks, but again, thank you and I appreciate your presence here sa NEDA. I apologize sa ating DSWD. We wanted to talk about yung social welfare attaché. Sana po sana ma-extend yung supposed to be matatapos na ngayong buwan na ito. June 30.
June 30 po matatapos at meron na rin po kaming plano.
Opo, thank you very much po. At salamat po sa inyong lahat. This committee hearing is hereby suspended. Thank you. Kulang yung oras eh. Sorry. Next time maaga tayo. Ma'am, pasensya na po. Kasi bawal ho kasi kami mag-hearing pag nag-session. I immediate apologize po. Sir, we know where you're coming from and ano yung may sir, ano po yung
Wala yan na magsasabi tayo lahat ng stakeholder. May nagsasabi ng
Wala man yan.